Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Mitch with the Nampa Chamber. We're going to move fast, so I'll apologize on that in advance, but there's a lot of amazing, awesome people up here that have got great information and knowledge that we want to hear from. And so big picture, just so you guys kind of know what's going on from 7 to 8. I've got some questions here that I will ask them, and I'm probably just going to rotate the order. They do not know what the questions were in advance, and it was on purpose. As I've communicated to my other chamber friends, this isn't to learn what they know about English 101 or Math 202. It's hopefully for us to get to know them better and why they want to be a trustee for College of Western Idaho. So I just want to start off by saying thank you to the College of Western Idaho for allowing the chamber to kind of partner with them and host this. The why we are here is a couple of weeks ago, literally, we had the business community coming to us saying we do not know much about the candidates and who is running for trustee, and it's an important decision. So when you hear that 10 different times from 10 different people, we said, well, let's put together a forum so that the community can come and get to know them. So as communicated, it is being recorded. So after this event, it'll be on our website, and we'll have that up at the end at nampa.com so that any of you and our friends up here can push that out to friends and family and get that information out there. So with that, restrooms are down the hallway, and if you have any questions about security or anything like that, the CWI staff team is out there too. 7 to 8 in this room. Questions from me with our friends up here, and then we will break at 8 o'clock. And in this room and across the hallway, there'll be cookies and water and campaign materials and so forth over there. So our hope is from 8 to 8:30 that it's your opportunity to go up and one, thank the candidates for being willing to serve our community, and two, get to know them. So I want to start before the questions again of me personally and professionally thanking each one of you because you're very brave. I don't know if you guys know this, they're not getting paid millions of dollars. It's a volunteer position to be elected to serve on a board as a trustee for the College of Western Idaho. So I just always lead with that these people care about education in Idaho that much that they're willing to listen to some goofy guy up here ask them questions. So we're 2 weeks from the November 8th. So today, hopefully you learn more. Okay, we will move through that. We had 3 of the 9 candidates that couldn't be here for other obligations that they had. So these are our friends that are here. And from Zone 1, Alicia could not be here, but Nicole Bradshaw is here. And from Zone 2, Gordon Simpson could not be here, and Ryan Spoon could not, but Molly Minty is here for Zone 2. Zone 3, Jan Czar, and then Jim Reams. And from Zone 4, Annie Hightower and Thad Butterwood. Yeah, got that correct. So, okay, with that, I think, make sure I went over my housekeeping rules. My bodyguard and timekeeper up here is Chelsea with the Nampa Chamber. If her phone goes off, she has permission. We're going to try to do 1 minute per question and answer. So Chelsea will be our timekeeper here, keeping us on track. So if you all would make sure if Chelsea starts holding up a red flag over here or a yellow, she's telling you time's up, and there'll be time at the end to hopefully capture all your thoughts. Everybody good? Yeah? Okay, we're just going to get moving right with this. I'll repeat the question a couple of times. Once Nicole has answered the first one, you'll know the question all the way down the line, but if you need me to, I can repeat it. Okay, let's start with a familiar, fun question. And we'll start with Nicole. And in 1 minute, please tell us about yourself. We'll start with Nicole. So Nicole, please tell us about yourself.
Okay, thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, the Chamber, and to CWI for hosting us. A little bit about myself. I'm Nicole Bradshaw. I'm born and raised in Idaho. I've lived in Caldwell for almost 30 years now. I have a husband who's here in the audience, and my mom and my son who attended CWI and continues to take some classes here. I've lived in all parts of the state, grew up in Southeast Idaho, went to school at University of Idaho, have 2 degrees from the U of I, and then have lived in this valley, as I said, 30 years. I've worked in healthcare for 30 years. I'm an executive director for a women's health group, and I am just a strong believer in education and training in myself and others, including my employees. And I thank you for your time.
Awesome. 9 seconds. Molly, please tell us about yourself.
Timer going. All right. So my name is Molly Lenti. And moving here as a child, I've lived here many years. So I would consider myself very much an Idahoan. Graduated from Nampa High and spent a lot of time here in the Nampa community, volunteering for a number of causes, a number of different boards. Spent 25 years as a vice president in the financial services industry until just recently, where I made the giant leap into working in the exciting world of college athletics, which has been a lot of fun. Through my years out in the community and serving on boards and for different initiatives, that's what brought me to serving on the CWI Foundation Board and really having an opportunity to get to know the college, to get to know our students, faculty, staff, to understand the mission of the opportunity that the college has to really make a difference in the community and for so many different students' lives.
Thank you, Molly. Jen.
So my name is Jan Czar. I am not a multi-generation Idahoan, but I feel that I am in the spirit of Idaho. I just need to put that up front. I grew up actually in Colorado, and when I semi-retired, my family thought I would go back to Colorado, but Idaho's in my blood. And so I initially came here. I was recruited by BSU, actually the Morrison Center Foundation, to run the Morrison Center in 2003. I ran that center for over 9 years and really brought the level of that center up to where it is today and where you see that. I also, when I was at the university, I taught theater management. My past has been also a collegiate teaching also for 10 years in North Carolina and also in Kentucky. So it's a privilege to be here, and thank you all.
Thank you, Jen. Jim.
It's elk season. We shouldn't all be in this room right now, but right back to the point. Jim Reams, born here at St. Luke's over in Boise. I really don't know anything different than Idaho. Grew up out by Brooklyn Stage Golf Course, sold lemonade on the course. Mom and dad have a jewelry store. Got into credit side of life, started going into loved credit, got into banking. I've been a banker for 25 years. I financed about any type of industry you could possibly imagine. I'm currently the market president for a bank. I have two amazing girls, a beautiful wife that I've been married to for 22 years and keeps me out of trouble on a daily basis. The college, what CWI has done is so close to home for me. Being a local Kane County kid and seeing what the impact the school has done locally is mind-boggling. We used to have Boise State and now we have CWI, and it has done such tremendous things for our local community.
Thank you, Jim. Annie.
Thank you. Annie Hightower, also born at St. Luke's, as were my 3 children. Yeah. So I am born and raised here in Idaho, have spent most of my time in the Treasure Valley. In fact, every single job I've ever had has been in the Treasure Valley, I realize today. I have extensive experience in higher education. I've served as a Title IX 504 coordinator, associate general counsel at Boise State, and now I'm the director of institutional compliance and ethics. I had to look for my office name. It's kind of a long name there. I really enjoy spending time in higher education. I have also served as an adjunct professor of constitutional law. I love teaching. I love working with people who want to learn, and that's why I'm here. It's so important to me, and I just value what CWI brings to this community, and I hope to continue that value.
Thank you, Annie.
I'm Thad Butterworth. I am somebody said serial entrepreneur, which kind of fits the bill. I do a lot with business. As somebody who does a lot with business, I've watched the need grow for kids to come out, especially with career technical ready educations. And it's a highly important thing to me. It's been a problem we've had to solve in the businesses I've worked with. As far as personally, I'm been married for 26 years. I have 3 boys, all of whom are grown and all of whom actually work for me, which means some level of success to me, but if they're willing to work with dad. So anyways, it's a privilege to be here. Thank you guys for putting this on, and look forward to letting you get to know us all.
Thank you. 7:11, we're on time. It's good. You guys did great. Y'all follow the rules. We're at college. Follow the rules. Okay, if you can take a drink of water. For those who walk in, just now, just quick level set, 7 to 8, we're gonna be doing this. Questions for me with our friends up here. And then we'll break at 8 o'clock for some social networking between this room and the room next to us. So thank you for being here. Again, I wanted to say the Nampa Chamber is honored and privileged to do this. We know how important this vote, this decision is, and how critical the success of CWI is to the business community. So that's why we're here, is because this decision, local people make local decisions which have local impact. So the chamber's excited to be here, playing a small part in this. Okay, Molly, we're gonna start with you and work our way down. We're gonna get the drill. Why are you running or wanting to be a trustee for College of Western Idaho? The reason I say that is because a couple of our friends up here are currently trustees and others are candidates trying to be elected. So I'm just gonna say, well, why are you running? Why do you want to be a trustee for the College of Western Idaho?
I'm currently serving as chair of the board. I've been on the board for 4 years, 2 years as board chair. I feel like we have started some really important work. I feel like we have a board that has worked really, really well together. We have differing backgrounds, different experiences and expertise that we bring to the table. And all of us show up not with an agenda, but with a mission to continue moving forward the college in our mission to provide economic and educational mobility to our students. I feel like we've made a lot of really great progress in some key areas, maintaining affordability, cost effectiveness, and providing access for students in a very successful academic environment. So I just want to keep moving that work forward. We've got a board of individuals that really bring their own skills and expertise. I think you can see that from those that are here today. Just the value of the experience and the thought that is brought to the table.
Great, thank you, Bob. Jan.
So the importance of serving for me is really being involved in my local community, because it has become very clear, especially in education. Education is in turmoil. Note I said education is in a turmoil. I didn't say that CWI is in a turmoil, nor did I say that I'm here to defund or dismantle this college. So we noticed some of my opponents that have mentioned that in a couple of Facebook things. Anyway, I thought it was necessary. I need to bring that out because that's not what I'm here for. I don't know where that's coming from. I'm here to make sure that we provide the students with the experience of real life goals and getting out in the community. I have experience in teaching. I've been successful in my business. I served on many boards throughout my career, so I know what it takes to be a board member.
Thank you, Jim. Jim.
Yeah, so this is a complex moving school, and I think the current board structure, I'm the finance side of it. I can tell you the finance side of the school backwards, forwards, almost blindfolded. When we talk about property taxes, we're down something like 45% over the last 6 or 7 years in the property tax ask. When we talk about student enrollment and community involvement, a good friend of mine, Jeremy Hefner, owns an auto body shop here in town. And Jeremy sits on the auto body board for the auto body shop. That's how we communicate. That's how we work with our community in order to provide connections, in order to give these kids and these young adults and these soon to be professionals experience and understand what it's like to be a community member. I hit the 10-second mark too early. I'm gonna stop there.
Thank you so much. My why am I running? Why do I want to continue at CWI? I have been a board member now for 4 years. And what I've seen in the 4 years is a path towards a college that is truly a community asset that brings vibrancy to our community, that serves our employers, serves the students that go to it. And I am committed to to continuing to have access to affordable, high-quality education in the Treasure Valley, whether that be education for someone who just wants to go to pick up a particular skill or who wants to go to pick up a certificate in something, or who wants to continue to get a 2 or 4 year degree at a different school. I'm there to support our community as a whole in their educational needs. There are certain things that I'm really excited about as we move forward, looking at building our facilities, looking at continuing our partnerships with employers in the Treasure Valley, and looking at how we're providing education in a way that truly meets the needs of our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Yeah,
So my biggest reason for running is I believe CWI has a lot of potential. And I believe that education is highly important, especially coming from both a technical background and owning a business in the construction industry. I see both sides of it, where we need the technical education, it's very important. There are also opportunities that people need to know about in the trades and in those sort of areas. I would love to see those expanded. I'm a big believer in working like you with local businesses, local employers. It's one of the things when I talk to fellow business owners, we're all struggling to find good people coming straight out of college that we can actually have them utilize their skills and what they've learned. So to me, an education that gets you right into the workforce and makes you useful from day one is highly important, and that's why I'm running.
great. Thank you. While we catch our breath, we have media partners. Oh, Nicole, and then we'll transition. Sorry.
Don't worry, Nicole, I got you.
Just see if you're paying attention up here, Chelsea.
Thank you so much. My purpose for running is really, I want to serve in the community, and there's lots of opportunities to serve. But looking specifically at CWI, I believe strongly in the mission and the vision that CWI is doing. And I remember years ago when CWI came to be, about 15 years ago, I was actually on the board of the chamber, and during this time, we've heard from and we continue to hear from business leaders about the need to have job-ready, trained employees, whether that's in technical skills or professional or even just soft skills. And CWI has definitely been doing that with 30,000 students that they're serving. But we have the opportunity to continue to expand that and grow and be strong as the community is growing. And so I really am passionate about wanting to serve for the CWI board.
Thank you, Nicole. I think we'll start with Jan this time. And again, we had a few people trickle in late. I do want to thank our media partners, because the goal here is not a couple hundred people here on campus to hear from our candidates, but a couple 100,000 people in the Treasure Valley. So again, being recorded, we'll push this out, and our media partners, hopefully we can get their information out to as many people as possible so we can make an educated vote. Yeah, my matrix of who was going first and last and all got thrown off because one of the candidates dropped out of the game. So bear with me, you guys help me. That we'll go, not that, sorry. Jan, we'll go first with you on this one. So the last question was, why do you want to be a trustee? Now we're going to drill down a little bit onto that. In your opinion, what is the primary role of a trustee of a community college? And what is not the role of a trustee? So what is the role of a trustee, the primary role of a trustee, or if you want to tweak it, you can say what is not.
So what is not, let's start with what is not the role of the trustee. I believe that the role of a board member or a trustee of the college is not to micromanage. That is not something that I would ever do. You'd never see me taking over the college and trying to run it from within. What is the role? The role is to be collaborative, is to listen not only to your staff, to other, to your students, to your constituents, and making sure that all voices are heard throughout the board in setting those policies as we move forward. Education, again, I feel is something that is, that is very important. I have 2 young grandkids that there's a possibility they would be coming here. And so I want to see CWI succeed in everything.
Thank you. Jim.
Yeah, so the role of a board member, CWI, we're a governance board. We can play the game of who knows what that is, but we don't have enough time. We were really held accountable to the state standards, Department of Education, and we work side by side with the president and what his vision is and where he wants to take the college. And then he collaborates with the rest of the school. What it is not, we're not the fear part. We're not the, go out and raise our fists and say, God, why doesn't the school do this? We're collaborators. Jan said it nail on the head. We work side by side with the board or the executive team of the school via the president and what their vision, where they want to go. We just hold the state board of education and the various standards accountable to make sure we can deliver those results.
Thank you, Jim. Annie.
Thank you. So keeping in mind that we're a public institution, I recognize as a trustee that our responsibility is always to our community members and always to the public, and particularly the community members and public accessing education and working at CWI. I think that I see our role as having three main responsibilities. The first is to appoint and support a president that can oversee kind of our institutional effectiveness leading to long-term stability. Our second is to make sure that we have a plan to maintain accreditation. And our third is that we have a fiduciary duty. We have an absolute responsibility to make sure that we are expending public funds in a way that is prudent and reasonable. And in doing so, we do things as in looking at our budget, looking at what our student fees and costs are, and making sure that those are reasonable and just. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
One of the most important things I feel the board is responsible for is making sure that the money that the students are spending is getting them the best education they can get. So there's the financial responsibility that, as has already been mentioned, that's huge. We need to make sure there's no waste. We need to make sure that everything that is being spent is going to better the students. There's also the collaborative part where we do have to work with the community. It's very important that we hear from the students. It's very important that we hear from business owners. It's very important that we hear from people in the community, because that also sets the tone for how the rest of the school is viewed. And it means the more favorably the school is viewed and the better quality that it is seen as producing the students, the more students you're going to attract.
Thank you, Nicole.
The role of a board, so many have explained it, but in my opinion, a strong board is really about continuing to work with the leadership of the school in helping move forward the mission, and as well as being a good financial steward. I've served on a number of local and national boards, and what really brings great boards together is that they can listen to the people that they are representing, and that they can come together and discuss things and be objective and have good integrity and trust as a board. And those are all key factors. We're not all going to believe the same thing. And in fact, that makes us stronger, and that we can come together and actually have good discussion. But the key purpose here is really leading forward the mission of CWI. And that's why I would see this as the strongest part of a board. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Molly.
I would agree with everything that everyone has already talked about. Collaboration, I think a lot of the partnerships that we've recently announced, especially Micron, Amazon, a lot of the industry-led businesses and individuals that are helping with our career and technical education, critically important to what we're doing, but also the innovation moving forward. But I think there's also a risk if board members come in thinking that they are responsible for, getting in the weeds around curriculum, if they think that they're coming in to cut a lot of programs or spending or things that aren't really a part of our focus and oversight. And I think that misinformation on what a trustee's role is the reason why We've seen what's happened up at North Idaho College. We spend a lot of time as a board to ensure that we're following our board bylaws and our accreditation standards. And we stick to that in order to best protect and support the college in all areas.
Thank you, Molly. I believe we pass it down. I think we'll start with Jim, if I'm correct here.
So Chelsea, I'll throw you off. We'll do this next one in 60 seconds, again, just like we have. But just tee it up for the following one. We'll do 90 seconds, since you guys are following the rules so nicely. We've got lots of questions we can get through. And again, the goal here is for you just to get little nuggets from them, so that when we break for the social part of your talk, that you can go and ask additional questions and get more information. So just trying to give you high level information at this time. So I'll keep moving. 60 seconds again, and then we'll do 90 on the next round. Okay, moving to the funding question here. Starting with Jim, CWI is the largest community college in the state, and as mentioned earlier, 30,000 plus students, which is absolutely awesome, amazing. To the best of my knowledge, it has the lowest levy rate. At one point, it was established at $10.63. I know that it's been mentioned it's less today for $100,000 value. So the kind of the funding question: what would be your plan as a trustee to try and cut spending? So basically, as a trustee, would you come in and try to manage spending, cut spending, or increase spending? So a little bit of the spending question. We'll start with you, Jim.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So CWI is what, 15 years old? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. We're a $75 million revenue company or institution. There's always going to be stretch marks. Think about your own personal lives and where you've come out, or your businesses you've been part of, and watch how fast they've grown. We have done a really good job of managing our spending, and we're learning from mistakes too. They're not substantial mistakes, but just controls in place. Who has the ability to do this? Who can do this? Who can do this? And as the school has grown over the last 15 years, and we're now going through a third CFO, I think is kind of where we're at right now. We're always getting bigger, better, brighter talent to help support the school where we're going. And so I don't know, I can answer cut spending, but I would say manage spending and the appropriation of it and how we're facilitating it. We're doing a really good job today. I would just continue that path.
Thank you, Jim. Annie.
Thank you so much. So Jim is our finance chair liaison, so I rely on Jim for finance information. He has quite a background in that. I would say that my goal would be to manage spending, and I think that we are doing that appropriately at this time. I think it's important for everyone to know, for the size of the institution, CWI runs on an incredibly lean budget, and we will continue to look at that. We have not raised the cost of the credit hour for a number of years. That's intentional. That is to ensure that we have low-cost education available to students in the Treasure Valley. I think that we will continue to look at that and make sure that, but that we're funding our programs appropriately to ensure that we also have high-quality education. I think there is a balance there. So again, my goal would be to manage the budget as is throughout the years moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Tab.
So this is where I love hearing what Jim has to say because he's got far more in-depth knowledge of what is going on with the budgets in the college. But I always, from a business perspective, I've walked into businesses that I've purchased or walked into businesses that I was consulting with, and I have always been able to look and see where money wasn't being spent in the right places or where cuts needed to be made. And so for me, this is really a case of, if I win this election, it's time to do a deep dive in and take the same approach I would take if I purchased any business in the community. I'd go in, look at where money is being spent, what programs are good, what's giving us a great return on our money, what's not. And that would be my approach to that.
Thank you. Thanks, Tab. Nicole.
Yeah, so, Jim definitely knows finances best. I looked at the annual report and, the college appears to have are being very responsible with the money that they get from the state. And only 10% of it comes from property taxes. 28% of that's coming from tuition. And so one of the, as we've heard many times, one of the key mission parts of the mission of CWI is to keep it affordable. And they've kept the cost of tuition down to only $139 per credit hour. It's one of the lowest in the state for a quality education. So what I only have about 5 minutes and 5 seconds, but what I would say is that we continue to manage it. You know, in my experience with financial stewardship, you have to, in order to reduce costs, you have to cut something. And so our quality, we don't want to lose.
It's odd time at the end.
Don't hurry.
Okay, Molly.
All right, Trustee Reams and Trustee Hightower both talked about our current budget, really running a lean budget. In the last 3 board meetings, we have taken a look in depth at the first reading, second reading of our budget, as well as an audit presentation. You know, we've seen, anybody that's been following this campaign has probably seen the opposition come out talking about cutting wasteful spending. As Nicole shared, if we cut any spending, that means cutting programs. It means raising tuition or fees, which we haven't had to do for 7 years. It's something that we're really proud about. We are running a lean, thoughtful machine that is setting access and affordability as the prime focus for our students.
Thank you, Molly. Yeah.
Yes, so first of all, I want to set the record straight. In an article that was written by the Idaho Press is where I had mentioned that the tax rate was at 13.8%, and that's is not what I said. I said that the college is receiving 13.8% of the property tax, or up to $9.9 million. So I was actually misquoted from that. Yes, our taxes, our property taxes are less. They're less than anybody else of the colleges, and it should be. Why? Because we have more people here. We have more homeowners here than the other I keep on saying universities, the other colleges. So it's just, it's going to be sensible that those property taxes are going to be lower. I also agree that there's always places to look where we can cut spending.
Thank you, Jen. Okay, this one under 90 seconds. And again, I think you could probably each take 5 minutes on each one of these questions. So I know it's challenging. And again, for anybody that logged in late or walked in late, 7 to 8 will be in here, and then we'll break a date for networking between this room and the room next door. Friendly reminder, it is being recorded, so you don't need to record it out there. We'll push it out to you afterwards. Okay, if I'm correct, we're starting with Annie, 90 seconds for everybody. You'll see where I'm going with this question, and you guys can take it for what you want and answer it, but it gives you an opportunity to speak about it. So here's the teaser of the question, and then you can speak about it to the best way you'd like to take it. We've all heard of the turmoil in the news up front, up north at North Idaho College. If elected as a CWI trustee, what would you do as a trustee to assure this does not happen here at the College of Western Idaho? Annie.
Okay, wow, thanks. We have to be starting on this one. Well, I think that if you know me, you know a couple of things about me. I have a really strong sense of independence, but I also have a very deep-seated obligation and care for our community and for this college. It is in our best interest as a board, as a community, to ensure that this college has long-term stability. I want it to be a place that my 2-year-old can go to when he chooses to, you know, go on to higher education, or that he wants to become a firefighter following his dad's footsteps, or that he wants to work on as an excavator mechanic. I want him to have that opportunity 18 years down the line. And so for me, I think Thad's talked about this, that there is the need to be collaborative, to be open-minded, and to be responsible in our decisions. We are not a one issue school, and I am not going to bring one issue or a pet project into my decision making. What I will do at all times and what I commit to is getting community feedback on key decisions, going to people who are impacted by my decisions to make sure that I am listening to them and I am responsive to their needs, and that we work together for the college and for the community.
Thank you, Andy. Yeah.
Thanks. This is a fun one because it's been in the news so much. There were several factors that I did a little bit of digging into with the North Idaho College and what went on. Part of the turmoil has been there's been a lot of infighting on the board currently with even the newly elected board members, where they came in maybe as a slate, but they didn't operate as a team. Teamwork is a huge issue to me. I don't know the business that can survive if they don't have a good team structure and if they can't work together. The fact is, I've had to work with people from multiple walks of life, from multiple political spectrums. And, you know, there's people are people. We're all individuals, but there are things that everybody needs in common. You know, the ability to be heard, the respect, all that sort of stuff. I believe in a case like this, if I'm elected, I'm going to work with whoever else is elected, and we'll figure out the best way to move forward and the best way to protect and help the college and strengthen it for the future. But we do that by working as a team, and we don't do that by focusing on what North Idaho College did. That's their deal, and it's a mess they're going to have to clean up. I don't think that that's going to be a problem here, because I think everybody that is running currently will be able to work with whoever ends up on the board.
Thank you, Ben. Good, Nicole. I'll trade you.
Well, similar to what's been said, really, and what I kind of mentioned before, I believe it really comes back to, you know, what makes a great board member, and that is being a strong advocate for the CWI and the mission that they're doing, but getting out of the way of the leadership. I mean, it's really helping to support the leader that is at the school and the faculty, and listen to the students and the business community and what their needs are. And that's ever changing, right? It's not the same as it was even a few years ago. In talking with a number of my business leader friends, you know, there continues to be some opportunity. We can meet with CWI. There's a lot of great things we're doing, and a lot of things that we can continue to change with to meet the needs that we have out there, both for the individuals and helping them to be able to move forward and finding a career path for them, as well as meeting the great need that we have with businesses out there to have people that are job ready. But again, in order to prevent that, and what happened up in the north, is like a lot of the colleagues have said, it really is about listening and representing the community that we're serving, and to work together and not have an individual agenda.
Thank you, Nicole. Wally.
All right, so I think that you hit the nail on the head. You know, being able to collaborate as a board is critically important. And I think that that's one of the things that this current board has done a really good job at. You know, we really check our own personal beliefs and thoughts at the door and come to the table being solutions driven. We create space so that everybody has a voice, and that we can really, you know, listen to and take into consideration the different experiences and expertise that each of the board members brings with them and their leadership to the board. We don't always agree on everything, but we find a way to work together and be a unified front, because that's what the best thing is for the college. And when I was first named as board chair, that's one of the things that this board sat down and decided, that we had the opportunity to set the tone. The way that we treated each other, the way that we showed respect, the way that we interacted with the administration, the way that we really valued and communicated our value for our faculty, staff, and appreciation for the students and the student experience. And so that's been a huge point of pride, I think, for myself, but also as a board, that we've been able to work so well together, to collaborate amongst ourselves and to foster that same belief and engagement across campus, as well as engagement with the business community and really fostering those additional relationships and innovative partnerships.
Thank you, Molly. Yeah.
So, mic drop. Everybody seems to be on the same track and on the same goal, what we, I think, are collaborating on. I feel that the folks that are running, and I will say that I am running with, the team that I am running with, would totally agree with everything that's said here. That is collaboration. It's making sure that every voice is heard. It's making sure that there is no infighting, that we welcome everybody's ideas. That is one of my strongest suits, and it's always been one of my strongest suits, is to work within the organization and pull everybody together. So we have one goal, one mission that we're always striving to get to. What happened up north, I honestly, when I was first asked that question, couldn't tell you what was going on up north. I guess I'm a little out of the loop there, but that's not my intention, to make sure that we upheave everything that the sitting current trustees have done. That's not my purpose to be here as a board member. My purpose, my mission is to make sure that the community and our students are getting the best that they can get. And I promise that's something that I will absolutely work for and work with.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, we're moving quickly. Jim. I'm sure everyone's waiting out there. Everyone's waiting. Yeah, in 90 seconds, maybe here.
Oh, man, you know, echo everything else everybody said, collaboration. I've been fortunate enough where I've had, you know, in the banking industry, I've had 36 branches, 350 give or take employees reporting up to me. And how do you create collaboration across multiple areas, multiple disciplines, multiple different, you know, backgrounds, philosophies, etc. And that's what we do as a board, is we collaborate with each other. And the greatest thing, the biggest blessing we have is we're not all the same mind. And we kind of create friction that creates outcome in a positive way. And with up in northern Idaho, I'm in Jan's boat. I had to go read and look and see what was happening, but you know, you oust the president, you put some folks in that probably shouldn't be in there running what they're running, and an agenda formed. Somewhere on that board, an agenda formed, and it's unfortunate because who loses? Kids lose, the students lose. Mom and dad that gave up everything they could to put their kid in school, they lose. Then the community. And then here we are now, get 90 seconds of fame to talk about it. So CWI is an amazing organization, and the collaboration that everybody's mentioned is what makes it so great.
Thank you. Okay, now we've gotten everybody. And I believe the next question, we start with that, if I'm correct. Moving close, we're moving good, 7:45, so 15 minutes left before we break for networking. Let's do 60 seconds, because I believe you guys can do it. You've proven that. Just, this is a light one, so Annie, we're starting off like you'll end on a very, very light one. Just literally, what I want to capture here is an experience that you've had at a CWI event or campus or meeting, etc. For example, for me, with Leadership Nampa, we've been able to have a tour of the Micron Center. We've been to commencement. We've been to the law enforcement program and the ceremonies there. So for me, I've got lots I could share. I'm just hoping you could just share on one CWI experience that you have personally been able to partake in.
So for me, I haven't had a lot of experiences with CWI events in particular, but I have had a lot of interaction with students. And that's something that I've enjoyed doing. In one of my capacities, I work a lot with younger people in our church, and I get the chance to talk to a lot of young people from a lot of different backgrounds, but I've always enjoyed talking to those who are coming from some of the smaller schools, because they have a quite different perspective from those coming from BSU and some of those other areas. So that's been, I've had pretty positive results from most of the students I've talked to who come from CWI. And yeah, that's been the most of my interaction. It's what makes this such a draw for me.
Thank you, Doug. Cool.
And two things come to mind to me. One is MC Nyland. So anybody that knows MC is, she was on the very first in helping to get CWI up and going, and may not be a CWI event, but just knowing MC and kind of the passion she had in helping to get CWI started it just sits with me, and that's one of the reasons I think I'm sitting here, is because I want to continue to see MC's dream, because that was really her dream, is to get CWI up and going. The other one is my son right back there. Pierce graduated from CWI just last May, and I have to say that was an amazing event to sit there and see how many students were getting certificates or degrees or their GEDs, and just really moving forward. So that was an amazing event for us.
Thank you, Nicole. Molly.
You know, I've been fortunate, having served on the foundation board and then 4 years on the board. I've had the opportunity to attend a lot of different CWI events, have toured all of campus, have gotten to know faculty, staff, but my favorite is really our student stories. You know, really similar to what Nicole shared. I've got my husband and I, we've got two young adult children, 20 and 24. My son went to Boise State and also took classes here. And when I sit through commencement and you see those students and you look up into the audience and you see the families and the lives that College of Western Idaho have touched through the work that we do here, it is incredible. It's incredibly moving. The number of people, and this is one of my favorite parts about commencement, where the question is asked for everyone that is a first generation college graduate to stand up. And the number of people in the audience and the way that the crowd lights up in the arena, that sticks with you. And it really makes a difference around all of the work that we put in as trustees as well.
Thank you, Molly. Jim.
That's a light question, but I don't know if I have a light answer. The only reason why is because when I was here between 2003 and 2011, my life was evolved around BSU and what was happening on that campus, particularly in the theater arts. I left in 2011 to, I was recruited in 2011 to put together a brand new center in Western Kentucky. I did have a lot of interactions with the students there, which it's kind of almost like this CWI. It's a small community, but the students, we did a lot with our students there. And so I'm very proud of what I do and my relationship with students. I wish I had some memories. I hope I can get some memories here. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim. Jim.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to kind of hang out in this community and sit on boards of different stuff, and I've toured their auto body shop, the welding area, the commencements, and the graduation is like the top. If anybody wants to experience just pure energy and excitement, the graduation is the best. I was fortunate as a trustee, I get to sit up on stage and seeing those young men and women and some folks more my age and maybe my parents' age coming across that stage, getting their associate degree for the first time, maybe first person in their family. Guys, I'm getting goosebumps now. It is the most amazing thing. And as Molly said, the most memorable piece is that who in here is first time? Who is the first? Are you the first person out of your family to graduate? And the number of people that stand up, it is awesome because it takes courage, it takes bravery, and you have to stick your neck out and do something different, unique, and kudos to all of them.
Thank you, Jim. Annie.
Thank you. I have had the opportunity over the past 4 years to do a ton of different things with CWI, from working with student support staff on training around response to trauma, to attending our fundraising events. And, you know, I love a good Hawks game. I love a good Steelhead game. I think Andrea's in the room, so excuse me if I don't get the name right. I love during COVID in which we could change our farm to table dinner to do like a remote pickup. It was wonderful, and I got to cook an awesome dinner at home and enjoy produce grown in a garden out back. And of course, as other trustees have said, probably the most memorable thing we get to do is go to graduation. I remember graduating. I remember seeing that professor who got me through college. And I get to see that time and time again, and I get to see students connect with those professors and thank them on their way out the door to their jobs and to the rest of their lives, and it is awesome.
Great. Okay,
Yes.
I think we are gonna come back. We'll start with Nicole, if I'm correct. So I've got 7:52. You do the math. We've got time for one last question. How about in between 60 to 90 seconds? 90 seconds max. Put the number, Charles. Put the number.
90.
In 90 seconds, we can all go over just a tab, right? So, in 90 seconds, that's 9 minutes if you do the math. In 90 seconds, 89 seconds, Charles. Why should we vote for you? Why, this is kind of your why CWI, why do you want to be a trustee? I always ask myself that. Again, I'm going to end with this. This is not a paid position. These individuals are up here because they care about education in Idaho. So I personally and professionally commend each one of you for being willing to serve. It is a tough position. It is a very important decision for our community, for our business community. I do think about the North Idaho College stuff because how it would affect the business community. It would paralyze the Nampa and the Treasure Valley community if CWI would not thrive and striving. So the Nampa Chamber is going to do everything we can to make sure we support the mission and vision of the college. That said, now we're down to 88 seconds, Chelsea. Why should we vote for you, and what is your CWI?
My why. So I start my why with really it's a fundamental principle that I follow every day, which is a quote from a great leader, which is to be the positive change you want to see in the world. And I wake up with that. It guides me in how I interact with people, how I live my life, how I serve in the community. It's why I'm in here for 30 years, is because I want to serve and make a difference and make a positive impact in the community. And that's why I came to really running for this board of trustee position for CWI, because education is powerful. It's a way to help our individuals grow and be confident. It's important for us in our economy to be able to have people that are confident and strong in their training and continue to grow here, whether it's getting a technical or an associate degree from CWI, or using that as kind of their career path, and they continue to move on in other professional degrees. It keeps people here in the community, building in this community. Why me? I have strong board backgrounds. I am a business leader. I have strong connections with business leaders so that I'm a good listener and serving our community. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Nicole. Molly.
I care deeply about this institution, about its people, about the work that we get to do. I think we are doing incredibly important work in responding to the current needs as well as future needs of our workforce and community, especially as a growing community, right? Our needs are going to continue to evolve. I know we've got members of law enforcement here in the room with us, knowing that the college oversees the Post Academy for Law Enforcement, members within I think off-duty fire service here as well. We are providing these critically important roles out into the community and building those relationships there within skilled workforce. We've talked a lot about career and technical education. I want to ensure that work continues moving forward. Through my years in service to the community, much like Nicole shared, I've got a lot of relationships within business and industry. I spent over 20 years here in Nampa. I currently live in Meridian, work in Boise. So my relationships really span the entire valley, state, and region. This board has started moving forward some work and focus around our facilities and a visioning project. And we've spent a lot of time in the trenches to really listen and learn and prepare ourselves for big decisions moving forward that are going to best meet the current and future needs of our students, as well as better support our faculty in order to deliver education.
Thank you, Molly. Jan.
My why. That's, when I was approached actually, by several, not just a couple people, but by several people in the community, to look at running for, the trustees. The first time I said that exact question, why would I want to do that? Because there's so, and actually one of my peers said, how are you going to fit that into your schedule, everything that I'm already doing? I'm a small businessman. I came back to Idaho to start a business here. I have collaborated with, I don't know, 10 hundreds of other food specialty folks here, because that's what we do here. But there's a lot of collaboration. And I want to show that. I want to show what I can bring. I have a lot of experience. And again, I believe in collaborating, pulling people together of all different areas. Again, I really truly believe that is something that I can bring forth, and helping this college move forward and continuing the work that this current trustees board has done.
Thank you, Jim. Jim.
Thank you. I've served on the Boys and Girls Club board here in Nampa for, 10 plus years. You've seen about every walk of life come through those doors. Some are heartbreaking, some are inspiring. Some of those kids just need a chance in life, and they're doing everything possible to take that opportunity they get, every opportunity they get. CWI, when they showed up on the scene in Nampa, in Kane County, all of a sudden there was another option. It wasn't I had to have a 4-year degree to become somebody. I could do it in 1 or 2. I could learn to be a diesel mechanic or welder. I could go back and become a nurse. I could be somebody bigger, better in my community without a commitment of a 4-year degree. CWI has brought so much to our community, and I see it more than anything at the Boys and Girls Club. When I show up on this campus, I get to go to different events, and I get to see these young kids come up to me and say, "Hey, Mr. Reams, hey, how are you? I know you." And they remind me, when we look at those kids, look at their backgrounds, their mom and dads are working day in and day out. Boys and Girls Club's $25 a year for them to go somewhere, be raised by the club. They're just trying to survive and be somebody better, bigger in our community. And CWI has created this amazing, phenomenal platform for people like them and others who want to go back and be somebody.
Thank you, Jim. Annie.
Great, thank you. I'm going to start with the dry answer and then move on to my more meaningful answer. So the dry answer to this is that I have a different perspective than most people on the board. I have different experiences. I have a significant background in higher education. I understand how colleges and universities work. I have also worked in the policy arena for a number of years. And so I bring that with me to every single board meeting to make sure that we are making decisions in accordance with our governance structures and policies and overarching equal responsibilities. Now, the more interesting answer and the one that I actually care about is a simple, I care. I care about our community. I care about our faculty members. I care about the students here. I was reading the Chronicle of Higher Education the other day, and there was something really interesting. It said that The simple proximity to colleges leads to increased high school graduation rates in their communities. It leads to improvements in other economic factors like employment, household income, marriage rates, and geographic mobility. I care about CWI for those reasons. This college benefits our community, and I want to make sure it's here to continue benefiting our community for as long as possible. I am invested in high quality, affordable education. I want it to stay in this community. I want this to always be an option for students, whoever needs it, whoever wants access to education, to have CWI here in a stable, good education.
Thank you, Annie. And that,
Well, as I've mentioned before, I'm a small business owner, and I've also spent years in the tech industry where I've watched the good and the bad of education happen. I've seen kids come out of with 4 or 6 year degrees and unable to do a line of code without help, having to start all over on day one. When I look at a college like CWI, I see one that for the economic realities of, can I afford to do a super expensive high level education? Not everybody can afford to do that. But I've also seen it in many cases be more effective than those who are coming out of larger communities, because they get more hands-on experience and class sizes tend to be smaller. There's a lot of advantages. CWI is important to our community. I believe it is. With my background in both the technology industry and in business, where I had to work with people who are more working with the trade arenas, I believe that I have the necessary skills to really help the college move forward with a different perspective. I mean, we've got what we're doing so far is great. I'm really happy with the results, but I believe that we can do more, and I think we should do more. CWI has a future that's bright, and we need to do everything we can to make that happen.
thank you, Ben. Well, can we give them a round of applause, please?